The Global Community Conversation, a Various Fields series special, Various Dialogues.
Welcome one and all, this is Various Fields and I'm Lex.
I'm Hazen Fields II.
And I'm Trey. What's up, interwebs?
And we have our special guest, Miguel!
Woo! Miguel!
Hello. Thank you for having me.
We are very excited to have you on our third episode of our Global Community Conversation, also known on YouTube as our Various fourth episode of Global Community Conversation, also known as Various Dialogues
yes.
on YouTube. And we wanted to just add you to the community and have you on our podcast and talk. I also know Miguel from our Power Breakfast Club that we go to all the time, somewhere where you see the episode of Dex that is coming up soon.
Yes.
But I want to talk to our audience, I also want to talk to you about a whole slew of things. I know you as a CrossFit expertise, I know you as a coach, I know you as a men's fitness guy, and I know you as someone that I don't want to arm wrestle. But if you wanted to, just for the audience and for us, because I know you, but my pops, my brother, not as affiliated, just tell the audience and everything about yourself a little bit, just to get people started.
Yeah, Miguel Porter. I'm from the Albany area, born and raised, never left. So high school here, college here at Siena College. And overall, just with fitness, I started CrossFit in 2017. So I've been doing it for a while now. Been weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting for about 5 or 6 years. Coaching for 2 or 3 now. So I've been around the fitness space for a while, did sports in high school, was never really great at them, pretty mediocre at all of them, but I love to kind of touch all aspects, and that's a lot of my personality, is I just like to be at least a little bit knowledgeable in any field. So yeah, that's really what my background is. I love helping people reach their goals. That's a big part of my coaching. So I like to know what people want out of fitness and how I can help them get there. Yeah.
Okay, well, fitness is, that's one of those things that are, for a lot of people like myself, that you're always wanting to get, but seeming to always miss the mark of attaining it. What are some of the mistakes that people make that are common mistakes that you might say that people make when they're trying to first start off their fitness goals?
It is forcing yourself to do it. 100%. That's whether it's nutrition or actually getting in the gym, it's forcing yourself. Because that's not the way to begin, I would say. You need to find something that you want to do. A lot of it is finding your motivation. What is your goal? How do you want to get there? If you just like exercising, you can find an exercise that you find interesting. I was very motivated by trying to be better than other people, to be completely honest. So I like something where I feel that I'm somewhat competing in. That's what really got me into CrossFit. But for some people, they love dance. Then dance, do Zumba, or even take a ballroom dance class, which I'm also doing on the side.
Subtle flex.
But yeah, there's something for everyone, whether it's team oriented or whether it's personal training. You can find something that motivates you and something that is interesting to you, something that's going to bring you back to the gym. If you're forcing yourself right at the beginning, you're going to want to stop because you're going to hate it every moment. So that's, at least to start off, I would say, find something that you enjoy that will draw you back beyond just, I want to get fit.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
I know we're a little early into this, but I know you were talking about movies and how much you like watching them.
Yep.
Have you ever heard of Magazine Dream with Jonathan Majors?
I have.
I
didn't get to see that one, but I've heard about the obsession, the motivation to just be better than others. I can see how that. Yeah.
No, it was only a toss up only because, like, again, I didn't know if there was an artistry to the film necessarily in comparison to what you might have experienced. I don't know if you're in the competitive space necessarily, or if you're just doing this as your own motivation, but also in I guess it's comforting to you. You know, are you doing any kind of competitions with weightlifting?
Yeah, so in weightlifting we compete fairly often. I would say we compete about 3 or 4 times a year. It's a little bit different than bodybuilding though, because I feel like bodybuilding is a little bit more subjective, and it's a little bit more based off your looks, whereas weightlifting is purely numbers.
Okay.
So you compete within a weight class. So I'm not like competing against a guy that's 100 pounds heavier than I am.
Right.
It's all people within my same weight class, but it's, did you lift more than me at the end?
Right.
So there is a level of, it's just pure numbers. You go to a competition, sometimes you can have your best day, and it still might not be enough to beat the next person, because sometimes they just outclass you.
Right.
So it's consistently building, and it's very much numbers never lie. There are judges, and there are things that are a lift and a no lift in competition that can be somewhat subjective, but overall it's, did you lift more than me at the end? Bodybuilding is a little bit tougher because it is, what do the judges want to see? What type of physique? But it is, for a lot of sports, it's the same motivation of, you have to want it more than another person.
Right.
I like to make those jokes. I train with my team, and I make those jokes of like, hey, the other teams aren't doing what we're doing right now. When training sucks and our room is hot and we're sweating and we're missing a lot of lifts because we're going really heavy or we're going really intensely, I make the joke, but I really mean it, of other teams aren't doing this. This is how we get ahead. So those things really, really motivate me a lot. Yeah.
All right, so you say you mentioned a team. Now, is this an organization, or is it just a group of friends together? Like, because I find it interesting that no matter what people are into, you can find an actual organized association or a group or something. So is this something like that?
Yeah. So it built off the gym that I go to. The overall gym is Albany CrossFit. I'm also a coach there, but my barbell club, for weightlifting, you have a club for each team, and it is Albany CrossFit Barbell Club. So that's a little bit separate from the CrossFit, even though we have CrossFit in our name. It's just because of our gym. There are about 9 of us that train consistently, and we have our coach as well. So within that, our team has grown a lot since I've started. It used to kind of just be an accessory piece, an additional piece to CrossFit. But a few of us began, and we started to become more competitive, and our kind of makeup of the team has changed, and we have an Instagram page. It's just Albany CrossFit Barbell Club. But because of that, we've grown a lot of members. Usually there's a pipeline from, you're doing CrossFit, and the Barbell Club is across the hall. So you might just join in, hop in every now and then. But now we have members who have just seen us on Instagram, and they've seen us lifting, and they just care about lifting. They don't want to do CrossFit. So we have members within our team who just do weightlifting. And we've grown immensely since I started in 2019. And now our team, how we train, is completely different, and that's based off of who we have on our team and what everyone's goals are.
Actually, that segues perfectly into the next question, because you mentioned 2 things that I actually think personally touch for me, and I say like my relationship with working out, which is something I want to get better at, but also want to stay consistent with. But like, not just the individual motivations, because I imagine that's different for everybody, but you also mentioned like the competitiveness. And I've always had I think, and this isn't an ad or anything, because I've always had an interesting relationship with competitiveness, because I feel like I'm not naturally a competitive person, but also because I know there is definitely healthy ways to be competitive and unhealthy ways to be competitive. and I imagine like how do you discern the difference, and what do you tell people to be like healthfully competitive?
It depends on what you can handle.
Mm.
Overall, my number one competitor is myself, and I think you'll get that from a lot of people. I'm always just trying to beat previous me.
Right.
And again, with weightlifting, it's very much number related. You know what you hit at your last competition. You want to beat that.
Gotcha.
But there is, within our own team, those are probably my biggest rivals. Nobody on my team is within the same weight class as I am.
Gotcha.
I have people who are double my body weight.
Right.
But I would still want to lift more than they're lifting.
Okay.
I humble brag here.
Yeah.
Not humble. Just, pound for pound, I'm the strongest person.
All
in
right,
our
all
gym.
right, there you go. There you go.
There are, we have things that we use to actually prove that. But I want to lift more than you're lifting. So I'm not satisfied with just being the strongest person pound for pound.
Right.
I want to be objectively lifting more than you're lifting.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're double my weight.
Yeah.
Right.
But that helps us in the team sense of,
Gotcha.
as my teammates get better, I want to get better.
Gotcha.
And it helps us because we're always looking at what each other's doing.
Yeah.
So if you're always lifting 20 pounds more than me, and then you get better and you're now lifting 30 pounds heavier than me, I need to make sure that range either gets smaller or stays the same.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of competition within our team. We all know where each other is at. So as people get better, we all need to get better, and it helps our training stay intense and helps everyone kind of keep their mindset of getting better, because we're all getting better, so we feed off of each other.
That's
Yeah.
I think that's also really one of the cool parts, and one of the things that like just genuinely I appreciate, especially when I think I first heard that like you were in the CrossFit environment and all that jazz, because it's like I think there are sometimes like there are negative stereotypes of like gym bro people, and just straight up through demeanor, how I've known you just hold yourself so well together, just like the way you present yourself, really cool cat, and all that. And it's like, and I both mean, and not that the other people aren't like that, not that people like there's, I'm imagining there's a lot in the gym community, but also it's one of those things that it's so cool to see where it's like, oh, this is what I'm passionate, this is what I do, and normally when you hear that on like just a contextual or aesthetic thing, someone who's like super into gym is like, oh yeah, I'm a gym bro, like more aggressive and all that type of stuff. But there seems like there's a balance of that passion and then also just the respectability of nature and things like that. Is that something you've ever come across in your I guess in your journeys of being CrossFit? Do you think it's more of a negative stereotype that's actually untrue about a lot of gym culture?
That's an interesting question. And I'm gonna give one of those answers of like, it depends. But within the CrossFit space, I would say CrossFit and weightlifting are different.
Gotcha.
CrossFit does have a bigger stereotype of like, people take their shirts off when they work out, and their whole, people just going heavier than they need to because it's an ego thing, or people going faster or cutting reps, doing half reps and saying like, oh, I finished before you, but there's always that. But our gym specifically at Albany CrossFit, I think we have a very good community, because it's such a wide spread as well. And I think that's overall the message of CrossFit, which is anyone can do it.
Yeah.
So we have most of our members, I would say our median age is like 40-something.
Okay.
So we have people in our gym who were there when our gym started, who are in their 80s.
Oh, really?
And they're doing, I guess you could say, the same workout that I would be doing. So the whole methodology of CrossFit is you kind of program the workout for the best, and then you scale the rest, is what it is. So if a workout, let's say it's 100 pounds, we're doing like push press or something within a certain amount of time. If I'm using the 100 pounds and I finish in 4 minutes, if you can't lift 100 pounds, you should also choose a weight that allows you to finish within 4 minutes. The intensities should be the same.
Gotcha.
So if you can kind of lift 100 pounds, but you take 8 minutes to get there, you've kind of missed the plot there. The whole point is for everyone to kind of be hitting the same stimulus, we say. So when I coach, we'll go to the whiteboard, we'll say, this is what the workout is, and we'll say, the goal is to finish within this time frame.
Okay.
So here's what the workout is, here are the movements,
Right.
scaling options. If you don't have pull-ups, we'll do ring rows, or we'll do, you know, assisted pull-ups, or some different movement.
Right.
And we'll do that for each thing. You can drop the weight on this.
Yeah.
RX is what we call it, kind of like prescription,
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
prescribed.
Gotcha.
Is 135 pounds. But if you can't hit that, or you can't hit it consistently, again, we'll go for like, you have to hit this unbroken, or all of that, then we'll drop it down. Again, the whole point is for everyone to get the same stimulus. So all that to say, it's supposed to be inclusive. And I feel like Albany CrossFit is very inclusive,
Nice.
all different skill levels, but you can tell that everyone's getting the same thing out of it. And I think that when you have a community like that, it kind of pushes away that kind of toxic behavior that you can have in other situations. There's supposed to be less ego and more just everyone's doing the same thing.
Right.
I like that.
I really like the idea of the timing thing, because a lot of times when you're going into, when you go into the gym and you want to know, well, how much weight should I lift?
Right.
And it's always a question, am I doing enough? But I like that the time being a gauge. So therefore, if you can't do X amount of weight by a certain amount of time, then you naturally know you drop the weight or increase the weight or whatever it is. I love that as a plan. And so that being said, with the CrossFit thing, what about dieting? Now you obviously you're a fit fellow. How important is your diet? What? Because I said fellow.
I don't know why I felt like
A fit fellow.
Yeah, I think it's extremely important in a different way than you might typically hear. I think a lot of people focus on tracking and weighing, and that can be important if you're really trying to find out for a data standpoint of what makes me feel good. So if you were going to say, I want to be more mindful of what I'm eating and how that makes me feel, I would go a week or two with, eat regularly. Maybe weigh, I think you can eyeball, and just pay attention to how much food you're eating throughout the day. Keep track of it and say, oh, today I felt more energized, or today I felt more sluggish, and then look back at what you ate, and then just go off of, these days I feel good, and then eat like that. I think it's very simple, and I think when I'm competing or training in weightlifting really intensely, it's important for me to be fueled, and that's for me the biggest thing. I think a lot of people think of dieting as restricting and taking away, but I think you have to, people want to earn their food a lot. So they're, oh, I ate this, so now I have to go on a run, or I have to go to the gym. I think it's almost the opposite. I think you have to earn your workouts by fueling correctly.
I like that.
So if you're going to the gym already sluggish and tired, you can't get your best workout there. You're just taking away from yourself. So as long as you can end the day feeling good, I think that's when you know that you're eating well. A lot of people get used to this feeling of like, yeah, my stomach always hurts at the end of the day, or like I always have indigestion or heartburn or something, and I think when you start to feel good, energized throughout the day, you're not falling asleep at work, that's when you know that is how I should be feeling. Because it's different for everyone. So I think it's just really gauging how you feel and continuing on that way.
I know a lot of exercise is very much subjective based on how the individual is progressing in their own self. So I'm assuming that you promote journaling for your own progress and everything like that. But is there any universalness about workouts that you can dispel right now to the audience? So like, I know there's an argument between calisthenics and cardio as to what does the better for weight loss. Is there anything like that that comes to mind?
Not necessarily. Again, I think it's something that has to interest you. I love CrossFit as a methodology because it's supposed to be, they call it unknown and unknowable. So it's essentially preparing yourself for anything. So it's also, there's so many taglines with CrossFit, but it's constantly varied movement.
Mm-hmm.
So one day you might go in and it's all cardio. You're on the rowing machine, then you're going on a run, then you're coming back, and maybe it's a quicker workout. It's 8-minute time cap, so you're just working out for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
You have the whole hour, which is warm-ups and progressions and all of that. But then the next day you come in and it's a 35-minute workout. And you're using weights, and maybe one day it's a 1-rep max back squat. So something that is very intense but only takes you about 4 seconds for that top set. Other days we're running 3 miles, right? So that way you're touching every aspect. So I would recommend something like that, but again, it depends on what your goals are, right? So as someone who's kind of moved a little bit over from CrossFit to weightlifting, I kind of think about it as like when you're playing an RPG game and you have your stats and they kind of come on that pentagon. And I'm kind of pushing my stats more towards power and strength. But my cardio is slipping as that happens. In order for me to get stronger, you have to kind of take it from somewhere else. So it depends on what your goals are. You can really touch everything, but if you want it to be the best overall, I would recommend something like a CrossFit or like a boot camp, something that you can do weights and gymnastics and weightlifting and running. That's something that you can touch regularly across that. But yeah, again, it depends on the person.
I like the fact, it's incoming. I like the fact that you said that, we should find something that we're interested in. And if you're interested in all the things that we're talking about, you're watching various fields, please like, share, subscribe, hit all the buttons. And not bad. But we're here with Mr. Miguel Porter. Now, you have so many different things. We don't want to just pigeonhole you into fitness. So Lex, why don't you introduce some of the other things?
I am glad, because I was going to do a transition. I was doing the transition from working out, but then also, as you know, we are nerds here on this podcast, and I don't want to identify as nerd, but I do know we watch a lot of movies and a lot of things that we've connected over time, which is through your workout journeys, all that type of stuff, and actual question, like through your goals, has there ever been something you've tried to attempt purely because you saw it on TV, purely because I want to be able to do a double helix backflip kind of thing? And one, what was it? And two, did you do it?
There are so many things. I mean, we talked earlier, but Power Rangers was something that you watch as a kid, and you're watching as they do the flips. You're flipping on your couch and you're doing all these things. And then movies, as I've gotten older, the Mission Impossible series was one of those things where I'm like, man, can I do that? Or like James Bond, where I'm like, I should start running in a suit just to see if I can really do it. I feel like I should be able to.
Running in a suit.
But specifically, there was Mission Impossible 5, Rogue Nation. At the beginning of the movie, he's kind of tied against this pole with his hands behind his back, and he finds a way to shimmy himself up. And I can see the core strength that's used there, and I'm like, could I do that? And I'm like, man, all the gymnastics that I do within CrossFit, and I feel like I have good core control, and I want to be able to do things like that. But that's constantly what I do when I watch action movies, where I'm like, me as a human being in this real world, if I had to, could I do that thing? And I do that with so many movies. I just think, obviously I take the powers out of it. All right, me as a human being, can I do that thing? Is that possible? Or is this just completely out of the realm? So I'm constantly doing that with movies, and that's one of my biggest motivators for fitness. That's so cool, and I want to be able to do that.
I was going to say, no, it's actually funny, because one of the things, because I did a little bit of martial arts last year, maybe a year and a half ago, and that was one of the most motivating things I did, and that was strictly because of yes, I want to get into, but you actually hit the nail on the head, which I found myself a lot of times forcing myself to go to the gym, but just generally, I'm not sure if it's an ADHD thing, I'm not sure what it is, but and this isn't, again, not an at anything, but weightlifting itself, maybe I'm just thinking too much, but I can get very bored of repetitive action. But I found myself doing martial arts, but like it's the fun, the energetic things out of it, and that all comes from like superhero mentality. I have like literally got like a Nightwing hoodie, wanting to do a backflip and all that jazz, because that is the most like motivating way to get into, at least for me, that was like to get into fitness and all that jazz. But also, I think there's at least in my head, there's also that divide that is maybe more societal than it is real, but there's always that divide between like, oh, you have like the jocks and the fitness people and then the nerds and then whatever, but you can very much blend them. You know, there are very much people who play video games like Tekken or something like that, where it's nothing but like the most fit people you see. You're like, I am going to do that, and you only care that much if you're a nerd.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, so we're kind of moving into the movie side.
Yes.
Now, what would you say is one of your favorite action movies? I know you mentioned.
Oh, it's Rush Hour 2.
Are you sure you don't want to take some time to think about it?
I think about this all the time. It is probably one of my favorite movies of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I love a journey movie, I call journey movies just like, they go to this place, and then they leave, and then they go to this place. In Rush Hour, they start in China, they go to LA, then they go to Vegas, and then I just love the journey. And obviously, the stunts within those movies are insane, and it's hilarious. It is my favorite of all time. But I remember watching those on the couch and doing the flips when they're in the massage parlor, and I'm pretending to fight 30 guys too.
I think we're gonna have to speak to somebody's parents here. There's a lot of flipping off of a couch. Any other?
I just like the fact that you're saying like I took a lot of inspiration from movies to see what I can do, replicate them. I remember like sometime in my youth playing Tekken. One of my favorite characters was Steve Fox, right, the boxer. And all the times because I had an interest in boxing, but before I actually took the classes, I was like, how am I going to access this? Like with my limited wealth. Again, I was probably like 14. But I remember like actually putting the tutorials on loop from time to time, watching how he actually, aside from how to do the combos, right, it would actually simulate the actual movements of what the combos actually represented. And as that thing was going on loop, I would just be standing in front of the TV, replicating his movements left, right, because they were actually emulating legitimate fighting styles. That was just very interesting. I'm happy I'm not alone in doing this, right? But I just didn't know if it was anyone else that was done.
So instead of extending your arm, you could just tell people press X.
Exactly.
For square.
1A.
I love going into memories of our childhood and things that we've done. I'm going. Can I expose one of these? Okay. One of my favorite memories of things that we do as young people, and it's not quite related to movies, but my sons were very experimental, so to speak, and Lexington has always been a very supportive brother, almost to a fault to Trey. So one day I was in the house. We lived in Queens, and I heard this noise, boom, boom. You can hear kind of like metally thing, boom, boom. What's going on? So I go upstairs, and these guys, when they were little, Trey had to be about 6, maybe 7, and I would have made Lex about 3 or something like that. And I go upstairs, and they had bunk beds, and we used to have the metal bunk beds, but they were both on the bottom bunk, and Lexington had a helmet on his head. A bicycle helmet. I think we just got a new bicycle. And Trey is watching. I was like, what? And I noticed that Lexington's bumping. He's hitting his head on the bottom of the top bunk. I'm like, what are you doing? His little brother says, we're testing the helmet. I'm like, we're testing the helmet? Right. So it's funny how, but he's a good brother. I'm sorry.
That's a great story.
No, I'm sorry.
And look at me now.
And this relates to CrossFit. How exactly?
No. I just wanted to say that you talked about flipping off the beds and this and then jumping off the beds. I just thought it was interesting that as young people we're influenced by different things to do things that are action packed. I remember as a kid swinging on curtain. You know, when I was a child, and I would swing around. We used to have in the projects. We used to have a closet space, but it was like 2 curtains, and I would run down the hall. I'd build about 3 or 4. And I would grab on the curtain because Spider-Man was my thing.
Yeah.
Swing around the corner and scare my sister each and every time. But that being said, those art imitating life, life imitating art. Are there any other action heroes other than films, people that you admire and stuff like that?
Oh, that's a good question. Specific. I don't know if there is someone specific. I always love, rooting for underdogs, or even like someone who's always looking out for the little guy, right? I mean, I think as I got older, a lot of those earlier things that you would watch, like the main character is always a cop or a detective, and then you kind of see how that's problematic that time because they're bending rules. But I think even if you look like someone in Mission Impossible, like Ethan Hunt, right? The latest movies, kind of the thing is, well, okay, the government's kind of off here. I'm gonna have to kind of go my other path because I'm looking out for everyone.
Right.
And I think that's my biggest motivator, is someone who's looking out for everyone. Trying to find the best way to save, or someone who weighs one life just as important as everyone's life. Like, instead of choosing, I don't want to choose. I want to find the solution that is best for every single person. I won't sacrifice one to save 1,000,000. I want to see how I can save 1,000,000 in one. So whenever I see a character like that, I would say that's someone that I look to for sure. There's always like Spider-Man, who's always looking out for the little guy, or Daredevil. The recent shows, and he's very much within his neighborhood. But even as a lawyer, he's doing like his pro bono work, and he's looking out for the people within his neighborhood who, don't always have the means to take care of themselves in other ways that, we might have advantages with wealth and this or that, and he's looking out for everyone. So I would say characters like that for sure.
Actually, I was going to ask if, because now you made me think of 2 things. So one's going to go back to the previous question, but the first, do you just have a favorite superhero in general, or something that comes to mind, if there is a favorite? There's not a specific character, but
favorite superhero. I do love Captain America. I love characters who can fight. I have problems with characters who, I love Static Shock.
Right.
I know that there as well. I love Static Shock, but I always had issues with those episodes where he would lose his powers and he was almost like helpless.
Right.
I love characters who just like have a knowledge of something, and you can tell that they train.
Right.
So that's always been like my go-to guys. Like, even if you took away the serum, like he's still got a good base. A lot of martial arts and things like that. So I would say,
that's
Captain America is great.
And then the second thing, this is going to sound completely deranged, but also, have you ever had, because my dad was just talking about like him swinging and scaring his sisters and things like that, just like, all right, I'll give an example, and I'm going to have to find a way to ask a question afterwards because it's the most ridiculous thing, but my pops reminded me of a time, and this was when I was, I don't think I was in 4th grade. I was young, like maybe 3rd grade or something like that. But no, I had been like 4th grade, because there was a time I was at a school called St. Teresa's, and like they like have during recess they have like some of the younger kids go out at some point, some of the older kids go out at one point, but they segmented it off. So I think at 4th grade for some reason, like the 5th to like 8th graders had a different recess. So 4th grade I was like one of the oldest of the young kids like in that thing. And I remember at that time I loved going to the monkey bars, going to the gym, and doing all that kind of stuff. And at some point, I'm not sure if I got it from you or what the case is, but I had a harmonica, and I was like playing the harmonica while standing on top of the monkey bars.
Oh no!
And I was just doing this. And then one of the teachers had gotten mad at me. He was like, "Lex, you can't do that. You're being a bad influence on the kids." And legitimately, without being like, I wasn't being rude. I wasn't trying to be smart. I legitimately didn't perceive what she was saying, because I'm like, this is awesome. What do you mean? How am I being a bad influence? But like, But just one of the things, like, as you get older, like, okay, like, the kids can be doing it's potentially dangerous.
Oh, okay.
But as a kid, I was just like, this is awesome. What is wrong with
Right.
But trying to form that into a question is like, have you ever had just like maybe one of those cool moments where it's like, just like you said, you have knowing the backflip off a couch or like any younger thing, but one of those prime just memories, like maybe it's not quite fitness, but it's like I did do a kamehameha, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with my two older sisters, and they would even watch wrestling. So of course, you know, don't try that at home.
Yeah.
I mean, we've definitely hit some combos. They've definitely hit some combos on me. Where, you know, my legs are up and someone's got my arms. You know, they're throwing me around. No, I've definitely tried some things. I've never been able to land a backflip, even now.
Wow.
But I've definitely gone for some. That,
Right.
You know, I've jumped over railings. Even kids love jumping downstairs. And you try to see how high you can jump from. Like, man, right now? I don't know. But it's always stuff like that. And then I like that where you're like, oh, this is awesome. What do you mean? What, teaching them how to be cool?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I have a lot of younger cousins too. It's similar where you're like, hey guys, why don't we all do this crazy thing and see how far we can all go? But yeah, the classic is a backflip. I think every kid like tries to do the backflip for sure.
It's just something about landing that backflip feels. And also, I guess this is the perfect time to say, even though we just talked about, don't try any of these things at home if there are any kids watching, right? All that type of stuff.
You know, it's always fun to imagine ourselves being in those hero situations. You know, it's always. I think it takes a part of our imagination. I think that's why we're so enamored with some of the movies that are coming. Actually, as we're filming this, we have just all recently watched the most recent Superman movie.
Oh, yeah.
But yet to come, I think it's on the 25th, the Fantastic Four.
Right.
Yes.
Do you have any, if I must be honest, as a kid, this Fantastic Four was one of my favorite comic books. But unfortunately, the movies have left me lackluster. You know, but I'm going to go see this.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
What's your expectations?
I think because I didn't even watch the previous Fox one that they did with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm going into it. I'll take what I get. Give me something cool that I can. The trailer has got me.
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems very. I don't know where it's heading, but it seems almost like one of those hopeless things where they're like, I don't know if we can beat this thing, but there's a community of people that I want to keep safe. And they're going after that. So as long as they can keep me captivated through that lens, I'm totally okay with whatever comes from it. But yeah, when you drop the expectations that low, I mean, they can only go up. I say with a question mark. I don't anticipate it being bad. So I'm hopeful for this one.
Yeah, good.
You know what? This actually just kind of connected it too, because as I think I said it earlier on here, but I know you through Power Breakfast Club, and then I missed a couple Power Breakfast Club. One we were talking about just off of camera was talking about community building. And I'm going to have to find a way to ask this because it's more about, because we're talking about heroism, we're talking about fitness, we're talking about this. And without you becoming a vigilante and doing anything like something like that, has there ever been like, okay, I'm seeing the benefits of my exercise, but like, I guess in a passive way, not just in like my physical workout, not just, maybe it is in your community, maybe it is in team building, maybe it is in whatever the case is, but is there like someone who is just starting to get into working out, but can you say like the external motivations or external benefits of any of the things I'm talking about that wouldn't be super recognizable people from the jump? Because that's something I just can't.
Yeah, I think you are just overall more helpful as a person the more fit you are.
Right.
My family's very like matriarchal, I guess you could say. Like the women run things, and I love to be able to help. I'm not the greatest cook, definitely not compared to them, but I love when we're doing family events, and I'm kind of I am the pick things up and put it down guy. You know, I am the setup guy, and I found that has gone throughout my life where like you might have hated it as a kid because you go to something for the family and they're just making you run back and forth, carrying this, carrying that. But I see myself doing it now more as an adult, where my friends are getting married and I'm going early and I'm setting things up. And I get to carry things, and you know, you're helping people. Like you see somebody with a bag. Like at the airport, there was this woman one time who, you know, was carrying the baby and carrying like a suitcase and another carry-on, and she was struggling, and it's like, that's something that easily, even though I'm holding my things, I can help you with. I can hold something for you. And yeah, I would say fitness is that. I just want to be able to help people, and it's easier to help others if I myself am healthy.
Right.
They say like the biggest form of like resistance is like having a healthy body. Like it's harder to be oppressive to people who can push back, right? And you know, if me standing next to you stops someone for a second at least, before they think about messing with you, like that's another piece.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a good carryover that I don't think a lot of people think about.
I mean, I feel that everyone's been kind of like hitting this just gently, but what got you officially started on your fitness journey? Like, why did you not choose this is a sport, yes, but why did you not choose like a basketball or water polo as opposed to, because you have how competitive you are?
Yeah.
I do have to divide basketball.
No, that's
Only two options you have.
That's a great question, because again, I would say CrossFit was one of those things that touched everything. I tried, you know, in high school, I did football for a year. I'm a smaller guy, and this is one of those ego things, but I think I'm slightly above average in everything that I touched. So I did football for a bit. I ran track. My older brother was very good at track. I wasn't that great, but I could run most events, again, in like a purely number-based, like based off of my age group, like right above average. And then I did volleyball my senior year, and I'm again a shorter guy, but I'm very athletic. So CrossFit was a good thing of, oh, they do everything. If I'm slightly above average at everything, add them up.
There you go.
And just tackle it all at once.
Yeah, genuinely, that was my biggest thing of like, CrossFit will be perfect for me then.
Right.
If I'm truly who I think I am, then I can add all these things together that I'm already okay at, and then I can become the CrossFitter, you know? And I'd say that I'm fairly within that realm that I thought I was. So that's why CrossFit was that choice, because it did touch everything, and I thought that I was decent enough in my base at everything.
Well, one of the things I want to comment on in reference to things that you've been saying, the word helpful has come up a lot, helpful. And we've been talking about the physical side, but it seems like the mental side is very important, of wanting to help. Now, not to make it heavy, but we're living in different times now, where I guess you say the base thing that a person would go to doesn't seem to be help nowadays. The default mindset of society at this point in time has been challenged in reference to what they can do to help. How do you maintain a mindset of still being helpful in a society that's increasingly want to reject help, or they're not as helpful?
Yeah, I guess this is where you have to stick to what you believe as an individual. In everything is community. I even look at, this might be a workplace call out, but in my workplace there is a person who goes through, at the end of the day, all the coffee cups are put in the dishwasher, they do that, they unload it, and then there's one day where that person isn't there, and all the clean cups are in the dishwasher. And now everyone's like, well, what do we do? And it's as simple as like, hey, I can open this up and I can just grab my cup and then I can go. But I'm like, we all work together. You don't
Right.
have to be my friend. I don't have to
Right.
know you personally to unload this, put all the cups back so that
Right.
everyone can then go ahead, and it's the same thing. The sink will pile up with the dirty ones because the
Right.
clean ones are in the dishwasher. It's
Yeah.
a simple okay, as a community member, I can just dump these out, clear out the clean ones, put the dirty ones in the dishwasher. That's kind of just no matter what everyone else is doing, I'm going to be
There you go.
a community member.
I like it.
And again, I don't have to like you. There is the protection piece. We've talked about it within the gym as well, where there are a lot of different communities represented within our gym. And how open do we make our gym community? Right? And to be welcoming of everyone, can we welcome everyone?
Right.
Because there are certain people's identities who are, I wouldn't want to bring someone in who is directly opposed to you having rights.
Right, exactly.
So,
Exactly.
we want to be inclusive, but do we include someone who doesn't
Embrace.
Right, everyone.
Right, right.
And is it a safe space for these people if we bring in this other person
Right.
who might be a danger to them?
Right.
And yeah, that's just been an open question that we've been talking about in the gym. It hasn't really come up. Again, I feel like we fostered a community that's very inclusive, and there's a wide breadth of personalities and people there, but everyone is safe.
Right.
But overall, I think it's just, no matter what's going on, being who I am, and I'm not going to shy away, or if there is that other personality that is kind of the danger, I'm not going to shy away from being who I am to make them more comfortable. I'm still going to be what I hope to be a good community member to those around me. I'm still going to protect those around me,
Right.
even if that makes you uncomfortable, because I believe what I'm doing is the correct thing, right?
Right.
And if that is the protection of others, I'll always stick with that. But yeah, there's a lot, and with the world right now, there's just do what you can, do as best as you can, and that can be in any space, the fitness space, the just power breakfast space, the coffee shop, your workplace, all of these places. You
Yeah.
just do the same thing, but just try to be a community member. Think of yourself as more than just yourself.
Before you do it, I just want to say it's funny that you said Captain America might be one of your favorite, because that was a very Captain America speech. I'm not lying. I really was I felt inspired right now.
Indeed.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Before I take it enough, do you have any questions? Or?
At this moment, I mean, if there's anything other than fitness and films that you're interested in, I would love to hear about it now. What else do you do?
I love music.
Get out. All right.
I feel like I don't know as much as I would like to know about music. I appreciate effort, so I listen to a lot of different genres just because I feel like I can hear it. Where someone
Yeah.
was very intentional, I listen to albums a lot.
Yeah.
So I love to go track one to the very end. I love to listen to music that way. I love music. R&B is like my base, I would say. But I do branch off of that. But I feel like all these things are interconnected.
Right.
Always.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I, for a second, I want to put you on the spot for a second, because I just remembered there was something. You officiated a wedding recently.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
you
yeah.
officiated. Yeah, you officiated a wedding, and I want to talk about because I don't know the whole story about it, but I want to talk about how I learned the presentation, because it's at a friend's Power Breakfast Club, and one of my favorite things is that you said you wanted to be able to win the wedding.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that together. But one, I want to talk about what this experience like, and know more about that process of what was like. How did you get to the process of officiating a wedding? And two, did you win it? Did you?
Oh,
win
yeah.
it?
That's amazing. All right.
Yeah, I would say, again, I feel like this all stems back from CrossFit, but because of CrossFit and all these things that I do, I've gained the confidence. I would say I grew up in the church, and as a kid, we always had to speak in front of the church, so I'm fairly comfortable with those things.
Yeah.
But through CrossFit and coaching, I speak to groups of people all the time, so I'm fairly comfortable with that. And relating back to work, it is a coworker who became one of my best friends, and I was able to officiate her wedding. And yeah, talking about winning the wedding, I think there are a few key things into winning a wedding. I think first is wardrobe. So weddings come with, they tell you like, here's the attire that you should wear.
Yeah.
Are you hitting the theme? If it's black tie, are you wearing black tie?
Yeah.
If it's in a barn, are you going all out? Are you wearing something that's, you know? And then there's just overall vibe, right? Of like, what energy are you bringing to this wedding? And I think the biggest point is, how are you helping the bride and groom have the best experience at their wedding? I think that's the biggest thing. So no matter what your role is, it does help if you're like, you know, maid of honor, best man, or officiant. But overall, like, are you bringing the energy on the dance floor? I've been to some weddings where, you know, the dance floor is empty. And it seems like the bride and groom are just, they just have to say bye to everyone as the reception's going on, and they're not enjoying the thing. And so I'm like, what can I run? What can I grab you? What can how can I take stress off of you in this moment? I've won 2 weddings now. I won 2 weddings. But yeah.
Congratulations.
But officiating was an amazing experience. I made it so much in my voice. People like were asking me, are you going to use ChatGPT for like and stuff? And I was like, no, I can figure this out.
Nice.
I used a lot of song lyrics in it. So there was Billy Joel, there was Stevie Wonder, a lot of Mariah Carey. I love Mariah Carey. So I threw a lot of lyrics in there to like move on to the next point of like what I view love as, and like how a relationship should go, and all of these different pieces about like not changing yourself and being there for the person. Can you stand the rain? That was so things like that. And it was a very good representation of who I am and how I related to the couple and to the audience as well. So I was very glad that I could do that.
So I'm still just wondering if you can clear, when you say you officiated, in a ministerial capacity or?
Yeah, so anybody can be an officiant. It's free. It's free online. You can go online and get it within a couple minutes.
Wow!
Yeah, so they weren't particularly religious. So even though I do have that background, I could have filled that in, but they are not. So I didn't need to be, and I just got my certificates online. Signed the wedding registry when they were on their honeymoon. I brought it to the what is the office?
City Hall.
Yeah, I brought it to the city hall and you know took care of that, and I was like, this is legit, right? And they were like, yep. Okay. They got it back. They are officially married, so you can just go online and do that.
Yeah, that is something. You talking about helping?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's for real. That's really okay. Well, we got about 6 minutes left. This has been fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, these are one of the people in our neighborhood. When I was a kid, that was one of the songs. He's one of the people in our neighborhood. This is Mr. Miguel Porter, and he's been just a wealth of knowledge and information. And you too can be here with us, and we'd love to have you. But we're going to finish up a little bit with Miguel. And any other landing questions? Because
I want to see if I can wrap it, because also through this conversation, I think the cool thing we also kind of touched on is that we start off with, and this is maybe for a little bit for the audience, like this is really, we just wanted to have you on. You're a cool dude. I wanted to talk to you. I appreciate you wanting to be on and all that type of stuff. But after having this conversation, you do with everything else, and you know a little more about it. And I do like how it started off with like men's fitness, and it's gone all the way down to helping people and saying the party community and help, but also it seems to be also something that's coming from your nature. And the reason why I'm mentioning a little bit in this is that and this is a little like a personal, not journey, but like a vendetta I have against, internet or against this, but there's also a little bit of like, there's toxic masculinity out there and there's a lot of things, and it seems like almost a natural combatant to it, with not us actually hitting it, but just being like, hey, I treat myself healthily, I look out for my community members, I'm inspired by heroism, but like actually the meaning of heroism.
Right.
And it's cool to just see this represent, like legitimately you're giving me superhero vibes, and this is
Yeah,
not just a show. But it has that kind of thing of like,
Yes,
like,
yes.
all the way to like, why not help my friends? Why not help officiate a wedding?
Yes.
And all that kind of thing. I think another thing that makes me feel honestly inspired of like wanting to not just be a part of the community, but also feeling a part of the community and knowing that you're a member of my community, knowing that you're helping people that I would never know and doing that, but also for the same thing for our audience to see how even, I guess that was, you answered my question in such a broad way throughout the conversation, which is, like I said, I personally want to get back to the gym. I personally want to do these things. I personally want to get better at my morning routine, but also how stick-to-itiveness and just seeing there's a lot more passive benefits that can come from that.
Right.
So for our audience and all that type of stuff, if there's anyone who is either like, oh, I wanted to join this episode specifically because I'm a gym bro and I wanted them to know more about how to work out, more things like this, or if you're starting your fitness journey, whatever the case is, or whatever brought you here, movies and all that type of stuff, how all these things can interconnect.
Yeah.
And I just really appreciate seeing that aspect of your
Yes.
character and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff. It's
thank
just really cool to learn and all that.
I'm just want to give this one. Do you want to give a plug into the gym that you're, because you are a coach.
Yes.
And so maybe if you are in the area and so tell them so they can. There may be someone out there who would like to find you
Yeah.
to help them with their goals fitness wise.
Right. So the gym that I'm at is Albany CrossFit, 444 Sand Creek Road, right by Colony Center, right at that circle there. We also do have Instagram pages, Albany CrossFit Barbell Club, if you want to see our weightlifting team specifically. I do a weekly podcast with my coach as well. It's called The Barbell Strikes Back.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
Star Wars related there. But that also has an Instagram page. Not as active, but we do that podcast weekly if you want more information on weightlifting specifically. And we talk about coaching CrossFit as well if you're interested in that realm as well.
Where can we find the podcast? And how do we find
It is on YouTube. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can just search The Barbell Strikes Back. You'll see my face up on there. So yeah.
Excellent. Hey.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You've proven that you are a true community member, and I very much appreciate that inspiration for all of that.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for joining us again on various fields. We hope to see you again next week.
That's right.
And I don't really have any other questions, honestly.
Well, I'm good, and I just want to say thank you for coming here and being here with us. And we are happy to know that our community is better because you're in it.
Wow.
And so we want to thank you for being a part of that. And we're just going to say, Nels is here. We're so glad to have Mr. Nels.
Yes, yes.
Who always takes care of us here. And we're just so happy that he's part of our community. And of course, to the fellas.
And before we sign off, I just want anything just like to the audience, as your first thing, anything that you just want to say randomly to the people before we officially call it.
I don't know. Do what you love. Have fun.
Yes.
Be there for others. That's really all I got.
Okay, fantastic.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, that is Miguel Porter,
Thank
community
you.
member, CrossFit superhero extraordinaire.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining. Boy, fellas, I love you to death,
Love
you
you
know.
too, Pops.
And we thank you so much for being here with
Thank
us.
you.
And we really thank you all for being here. Please remember to subscribe. Let's get us up to 500. As soon as we get to 500, we're going to go live and do a big live show. And we thank you for, and if you want to be in this chair where Miguel, not at the same time, but in the chair that Miguel is in, come on by and put your name there in one of the comments, and we'll try to reach out to you. This has been Various Fields. We love you. Thank you for having us in your home, and tune in next week.
See you next time.